Welcome to the AFR Saints channel, where we provide you daily content on your favorite team, the New Orleans Saints. Do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to leave your comments below and smash that like button. Who dat?
We're familiar with this team. They're really good. They're a really good team. Certainly good, defense. And look, I got a lot of respect for them and what they've done over the years, and it'll be a good challenge. And I missed the game this year, and I'm excited to be a part of this one.
Taysom Hill meeting with the media before the Saints play the Bucs. He's even got the Sean Payton / Drew Brees look, listen, down. I mean, would you isolate that? I don't know if you can find it in there, but look, listen. It's Sean Payton says it all the time. Breeze did it all the time, and now apparently Taysom is doing it. Did Jameis do it? Mike Triplett could probably answer that question. Mike, thanks for the time. How are you? Help me out there, Muse, please.
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Our pleasure. Did Jameis, in his brief stint as starter, use the look, listen, preface for every answer?
Oh, my goodness. That's a really good – I need to go back. I would say no. I think this. Look, I don't think
well done, dude. Well done. So good.
But I don't think he got it. Look, Jameis had his own special speaking. What's the word? Like the presence about him was something that actually really stood out about him, and I think everybody believes that. So he did not just fit the same mold. An interview with Jameis felt like a special experience, unique experience, different than the look. Listen, I think this. That we've heard from so many others.
So good. Okay. I think this. It's impossible to talk about the Saints without starting with the injury report. All right, Ramczyk and Armstead both on the injury report as not practicing Wednesday or Thursday. So am I to assume that they will not play this weekend against Tampa?
I can't make that assumption for sure with Teron Armstead because he's been doing this for weeks now where we have seen him in the building in his jersey leaving early. Last week he was limited at least, I think, in a couple of practices before he ended up playing. And this week he hasn't been listed as limited yet, but he has been playing despite barely practicing at times during this injury, but obviously it's not getting better. So I put him as definitely questionable. Ramczyk certainly seems doubtful to me. And I think this injury has lingered longer for Ramczyk than they expected, but we haven't seen him on the practice field at all. So,
someone who does appear to be back is Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. How big would he be in this game in particular against Tampa? Oh,
really big. It's funny, when he started to come into his own, I don't always do deep dive tape studies, but I did one last summer when the Buccaneers signed Brady, and I was going to write a little about how the Saints have always defended Bruce Arians' offense and how that might change with Brady. And I went back and watched every snap of how they defended Tampa Bay. And that was, I came away more impressed than ever with Gardner-Johnson because of how well he did against Chris Godwin in the slot. And that was the year that Chris Godwin really exploded as one of the best receivers in the NFL. And Gardner-Johnson was fantastic against him in the slot. And then since then, I think he's really earned a reputation as being good against a lot of guys in the slot. But that really opened eyes for me from his rookie year. And so I think you saw signs of it then, and I think that's been a big part of why they match up well against the team. Obviously, we know Lattimore matches up well against Evans, and I think Gardner-Johnson matches up well against Godwin, and you go a long way when you do that. Look, Cam Jordan back in practice today from COVID. I think the Saints will have all 11 starters healthy on defense for this game, and no matter what question marks we have about this offense, we know that this defense has been a bit of kryptonite for Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. All the turnovers they've forced, they certainly won 38-3 there last year. So I'm very intrigued to see a healthy Saints defense against the Buccaneers offense, which is the best in the NFL this year.
That blowout game was in primetime too, wasn't it, Mike?
Yep.
Yeah,
it was.
And they'll be back on in primetime on Sunday Night Football this week down in Tampa. You wrote earlier this week about Alvin Kamara and his return against the Jets. So this matchup in particular is kind of curious. Kamara didn't have a great game against Tampa the first go-round, in large part because I think we know how good that Bucs front seven is, and where they are kind of vulnerable is in the second, or have been, is in the secondary. So am I to believe, like, the Saints' bad passing game could actually make some hay against this Bucs secondary, or is the bad on bad going to default to Tampa here?
Yeah, it's still bad on bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we've seen the Saints play good passing defenses, bad passing defenses, everything in between, and none of it has generated a good Saints passing offense. Now they can take advantage of situations. Look, play action works even against a team that's great against the run. It's not like they don't have to try to stop the run. I like some of these Taysom Hill rollout passes to Nick Bennett. Taysom Hill showing that he can throw to Alvin Kamara. It's something he's worked on. And I think they had a pretty nice rhythm last week. I don't think they air it out and just torch the corners, but they will absolutely take advantage of, I think Taysom Hill's always been very good at executing the play as designed when the play is well designed and getting it to that first or second read. And I think Sean Payton can design some plays that can take advantage of this defense. So I do think that the passing game has to be part of the equation. I think they threw for 298 against this team with the combination of Winston and Simeon earlier this year. So there are vulnerabilities there for sure.
So are you saying that they should start Trevor Simeon?
I did not say that.
It sounded like what you said. I mean, that's what I heard from you. That's what I thought I heard.
Yeah, I did not say that. But
okay.
From Simeon to Hill, from Simeon to Hill, maybe you would give Simeon a slight advantage in some passing categories. But I think I'm going to go with the one that also has the ability to run for 100 yards. I think that puts Hill over the edge in that battle.
He ain't rushing for 100 yards against Tampa. Let's get real, though, man. I mean, Tampa.
No, probably not.
Yeah, that
although if you saw what Josh Allen did last week, having the best one of the best run defenses in the NFL doesn't automatically mean you can stop a quarterback from running. And we know the Saints fans know that better than anyone because the Saints stop everybody from running except Jalen Hurts.
Touche. I mean, maybe that is the kryptonite, is let Taysom Hill go run it 35 times against Tampa. Maybe this is the thing. Any reason to believe, though, that Kamara will have a bigger day this time around against Tampa than last?
Yeah. Look at Leonard Fournette, too. I mean, these two teams are kind of like the Spider-Man. I mean, they stop great running backs. But the beauty of Kamara, obviously, is he can do so many different things. He doesn't have to run between the tackles. He can run wide. And if that's not working, you can pass it to him. And if check down passes aren't working, you can line him up as a receiver or line him up in the slot. So Kamara can do so many different things that the fact that he is 92% of this offense, I have a feeling they will find ways to have some success with Alvin Kamara in this game. Dude,
and they actually made kicks last week. It's incredible. And was it just a moment in time, or did Brett Maher coming into his out?
You're getting a little. This is the most optimistic conversation. One win, and all of a sudden you turn into the rose-colored glasses guy.
That's not fair. No, that's not fair. Okay, but I also blame you because it was you, Mike Triplett, who, while I was sitting at the Sazerac house a few hours before the Saints played Dallas, you convinced me.
I give you hope.
You convinced me why it wasn't absurd to think if they won that game against Dallas, 10 days off, you play the Jets, you're going to get people healthy. You look at the schedule with Miami and Atlanta and Carolina, like, you could do it. I'm like, you know what? I'll be damned. That's actually really quite logical.
Right.
And you gave me hope, Triplett, and they lost.
I'll give you more. I'll give you more in this holiday season. All those things are true. All those things are true if they sneak this one out. They beat Tampa Bay, all of a sudden everyone's like, Saints, they're going to the playoffs. It's the if they beat Tampa Bay part that's the hard part.
Yeah.
That's the part I think you must have been sipping during that part. You didn't hear that part. If they beat the team that they're double-digit underdogs for the first time ever in the Sean Payton era.
Ooh, that's a good little
double-digit underdog.
Good nugget there. I was not sipping. I don't drink on air. I wait until after. And then I basically drank the whole game because that Dallas game was brutal to watch.
Yeah.
And besides, that was at home in prime time against Dallas, who's kind of meh. This is on the road against Tampa, who's You know what I mean?
Yeah, and Tampa has been startlingly good at home this year, and their home road differential is, obviously the Tampa that the Saints beat twice last year, they got their act together later in the year. They've been a lot better since then. But look, three out of the last 4 games since Tom Brady arrived there, the Saints performed really well against them. So there is something about this matchup that brings out the best in them. I did not pick the Saints to win, but I like watching the Saints defense against the Buccaneers offense. It's been Tom Brady's biggest challenge almost since he got to Tampa.
Yeah, that's very fair. I want to ask kind of the big picture tanking question, but I feel like I'm going to ask you that every week that we talk. I know they're not going to tank, right? Like, they're not going to try to lose, but do you think some of the personnel decisions as far as bringing guys back from injury could be influenced by that?
I think they could be at a certain point, but I think we're talking mathematical elimination or 1 in 100 chance, and they're nowhere near that yet. Like I said, part of the reason I gave you hope before is I think they're, depending on how they look in this game, I think they'll be favored in each of their last 3 games.
Oh, I agree.
And so, they're going to be mathematically alive for the playoffs with a reasonable chance to believe they could get in, even if they lose to Tampa. Now, if they lose to Tampa and Miami, then maybe you're like, all right, let's not bring Ramczyk back this year at this point. Maybe you have those discussions if they lose the next 2, but we're nowhere close to that yet.
Are they going to get Aaron Rodgers?
I don't think so for a couple of reasons. I do think the Saints will consider all grand possibilities at that position, though. I don't think they have it in their DNA to be like, no, we're rebuilding. We're going to take a conservative, long-term rebuilding approach. They will take swings, and those swings could include Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson. But I think the problem is, I think the New York Giants, who have 2 top 10 picks, will want Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson. I think that the Denver Broncos, who might have a higher draft pick, will want Aaron Rodgers, and Rodgers wants to go there. I think the Jets have 2 top 10 picks. The Dolphins might have 2 high. All these teams that have more ammo than the Saints. Even if the Saints want Wilson and Wilson wants him, it'd be hard for them to make the best offer for Wilson or Rodgers.
But Russell Wilson has no trade clause, and he would accept the trade to New Orleans. Put it out there. I'm giving you hope. I'm the one giving hope.
I'll never say never on it.
I'm the one giving hope.
I'll never say never on it. The Saints are a team that will look to take big swings like that, and the salary cap. Sure enough, Nick Hill and I both did the same exercise. It's like, all right, there's $70 million over the cap for next year. All right, let me see. Pull open the spreadsheet. How hard is this going to be? All right, let me do my first run through. If I convert all these bonuses, $98 million, perfect. I've got $28 million under now. Easy. Didn't have to cut anybody.
Okay.
So it's always easier than it looks now. You just don't want it to drop by another $35 million unexpectedly because of a pandemic. But they can find ways if that's the route they want to go. And I would never say never for aggressive moves like that.
I always appreciate your time. You're very kind and very thoughtful, and we do appreciate you making time to be with us on these Thursdays. And if you're so kind, we'll do it again next week.
All right. Thanks for having me.
Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact. And be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.